10 names, that is Mugume Michael, Nabumba Mwajuma, Sharif Musa, Farouk Fauzi, Ainomugisha Rachel, Hashim Rashid, Senyondo Abudu, Nakajubi Shifra, Kashaija Nathan, and Nabudadiri Grace have no signatures appended or against their names. Further, Babirie Jennifer, Kawombe Innocent, Muhumuza Deos, Achen Luce, Navirio Prose, Nanyondo Silvia, Ndiwera Christine, Mugabi Baruogeza Norman, Mugabi Ismael Awoli, Kawombe Innocent, Wanyaka Emmanuel, Atim Atwine, Asimwe Juliet, Kasaga Gonza, Irakwate David, and Isuga Eric, Igogo Catherine, Bukenya Edith, Katshabe Grace, Igogo Simon, and Babiria Dorothy all lodged complaints denying subscribing to your nomination. Based on the foregoing observations, therefore, the Commission established, after scrutinizing the nomination paper of Lusagala, Bosco, that in Namuwongo, Muyenga, Kabalagala, and Uziga electoral areas, you did not comply with the requirements of Section 129, subsection 3, sorry. 123, sorry. Not 129, 123, subsection 9, which states a person shall not qualify for election as a chairperson of a municipality, town, division, or sub-county unless that person, E, attaches to his or her nomination paper a list of the names of 20 registered voters from each electoral area, and each of the 20 registered voters shall have appended to that list his or her name, signature, physical address, and voter's registration number as specified in Form 1 EC1 of Schedule 8 to this Act. And the law also says, a person shall not subscribe to more than one nomination paper, and no person shall give his or her support under subsection 309 to more than one candidate for the same office. See, some of the papers have said supported other candidates who were nominated earlier than Lusagala. So the Commission found you did not comply with the law, and therefore you are not eligible for nomination. The Commission, under minute that of 2025, therefore resolved to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating you, and accordingly, Lusagala Bosco, you stand disqualified for having not complied with the law. There is a slight correction here, which we are going to make, then we give you the decision formally, Mr. Lusagala. That is all. The next, here we have a petition by, here the petitioners were, the petitioners in this case were Yasini Omari, Babirie Jennifer, Kawombe Innocent, Mumuza Deus, Achen Lucy, Navido Popra, blah, blah, blah. Quite a number of petitioners here. That is one. Next. This is in the decision in respect of Sabuka Tigatoola David. Is he here? Yes. The Commission makes reference to the complaint lodged against the nomination of Sabuka Tigatoola. The complainant alleged that Sabuka Tigatoola David submitted only 20 registered voters from only 9 electoral areas. Sabuka Tigatoola David, in his response, contended that he submitted 20 names of supporters from all the electoral areas. The Commission, upon hearing the complaint and considering the submissions of counsel of both parties, and also upon examination of the nomination paper of Sabuka Tigatoola David, made the following observations. 1. For Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas, he submitted 25 names of supporters combined instead of 40. Should have submitted 20 from Lukuli A, 20 from Lukuli B, making 40. But here in total, he submitted 25 names instead of 40. Secondly, for Salama A and Salama B electoral areas, he submitted 30 names of supporters instead of 40. Again, he had a shortage of 10. For Zambia Central A and Zambia Central B electoral areas, he submitted only 27 names of supporters instead of 40. Section 123, subsection 9E of the Local Governments Act requires every contender for the elective office of division chairperson to attach to his nomination paper at least a list to his nomination paper a list of at least 20 registered voters from each of the electoral area from each electoral area within that constituency area. In view of the foregoing, the Commission found that Sabuka Tigatoola David did not submit the requisite number of supporters for his nomination, and therefore, in accordance with the law, and therefore, under Minute 093 of 2025, it is resolved that Sabuka did not qualify for nomination, and therefore the decision of the returning officer is quashed or overturned, and therefore Sabuka Tigatoola also stands disqualified for not submitting the required number of supporters. We shall sign the decision, then pass it on to you. It has one slight correction here. But the substance is that. Okay? No, sure. If your case cancelled, if your case has been announced or pronounced made, you can take leave. Yeah. Okay? Next, we have Tabalamule, Kamar, Ismael. Is he here? Yes. The Commission makes reference to the complaints lodged against your nomination for the said position, Chairperson Makindye Division. The complainants alleged, among other things, that you, Tabalamule Kamar Ismael, did not comply with the nomination requirement of submitting 20 registered voters for Namuwongo and Kansanga electoral areas. Is it Kasaga or Kansanga? Okay. Tabalamule Ismael, in his response dated 10th November, admitted and contended that failure to obtain the requisite number of signatures in 2 electoral areas out of the 25 electoral areas was a procedural irregularity and not a matter affecting his eligibility. The Commission, upon hearing the complaint and considering the submissions of counsel for both parties, and on further examination of the nomination paper of Tabalamule Kamar Ismael, made the following observations. 1. In Namuwongo electoral area, Tabalamule submitted 35 names of supporters, out of which 28 did not append their signatures. No signatures against 28 names out of 35. Secondly, in Kansanga electoral area, he submitted 43 names of supporters, out of which 29 did not append their signatures as required by the law. Under Section 123, subsection 9E of the Local Governments Act, which I've read out, It requires that every contender for the elective office of division chairperson should attach to his or her nomination paper a list of 20 registered voters from each electoral area constituting Makindye Division. And each of the 20 registered voters must append to the list his or her name, signature, physical address, and voter's registration number. In light of the above, the Commission found that Tabalamule Kamar Ismael did not comply with Section 123, subsection 9E of the Local Governments Act, thus was not validly nominated. The Commission therefore resolved to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating Tabalamule Kamar Ismael for the elective office of division chairperson. Accordingly, Tabalamule Kamar Ismael stands disqualified. Again, we shall sign the decision and pass it on to you after making the necessary corrections. Next one. Around. The Commission makes reference to the complaint lodged challenging nomination of Nakibinge Jo Juuko. In the complaint, it was alleged that Nakibinge Jo Juuko did not comply with Section 123, subsection 9E of the Local Governments Act, requiring him to attach to his nomination paper a list of 20 registered voters from each electoral area. Further, each of the 20 registered voters had to append to the list his or her name, signature, physical address, and voter's registration number. Nakibinge Jo Juuko in his response contended that he submitted 24 and 28 names, respectively, exceeding the 20 number threshold for Lukuli A/B and Salama A/B. The Commission, upon hearing the complaint and the submissions of both parties, and further, upon examination of the nomination paper of Nakibinge Jo Juuko, made the following observations. 1. In Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas, Nakibinge Jo Juuko submitted a total of 36 names as opposed to the required number of 20 for each electoral area. That is 40 for Nakibinge for Lukuli A and Lukuli B. Further, Kisache Marita and Kunira Juliet are registered voters, were found to be registered voters in Intenjeru County North, Kayunga District, and Mwenge County South, Kianjojo District, respectively. Secondly, in Nsambya Central A and Nsambya Central B electoral areas, Juuko submitted 40 names, but 7 of these, that is to say, Kamwine Naume, Mutiembu Miriam, na Mwanje Haja, na Matovu Marine, na Mutogo Margaret, na Kachwa Sumaya, and Virungi Rehema did not append their signature. Further, out of the remaining 33 names, Aswat Mary was found to be a registered voter of Butembe County in Jinja District. Mutiembu Miriam Kadogo is a registered voter of Buvulu East County, Manafa District. Kalima Mariam, registered voter in Katwe, is a registered voter in Katwe. Gumo Shabe Nelson is a registered voter in Kajara County, Tungamo District. Atwine Dennis is a registered voter in Uziga. Nambuya Babwa is a registered voter in Namisindwa County, Namisindwa District. Navundu Sara is a registered voter in Butiru County, Manafa District. And Kivumba Edward is a registered voter in Bukasa. Thirdly, for Salama A and Salama B electoral areas, Juuko submitted 27 names, out of which 3 names, that is Navaterega, Reste, Nakitende, Rehema, Matovu Ronald, Galabuzideo, and Nasaka Harriet are not registered voters from Salama. From Muyenga electoral area, Juuko submitted 20 names. Out of the 20, 3 names, that is Kibumba Edward, Nambuya Babura, Nabundu Sara, are not registered voters from Muyenga. Based on the foregoing, therefore, the Commission found that Nakibinge Juuko did not comply with the requirements of the law under Section 123, subsection 9E of the Local Governments Act, and therefore he did not qualify for nomination. Accordingly, the Commission under that minute reversed the decision of the returning officer or quashed that decision, nominating Nakibinge Juuko, and he stands disqualified. Nakibinge Juuko. We shall also sign after making sure the thing is there, we shall sign and pass it on to you. The other decision is Sebagal Haruna. Is he here? Yes. Sebagal Haruna is here. The Commission makes reference to the complaint lodged challenging the nomination of Sebagal Haruna. The petitioner stated that Sebagal Haruna, who was nominated for the elective office of chairperson Makindye Division, did not fulfill the nomination requirement of attaching 20 names upon deliberating over the issues raised in the complaint, and on consideration of the submissions of both parties, made the following observations. 1. For Ukuli A and Ukuli B electoral areas, he submitted a total of 38 names for supporters instead of 40. But out of the said 38, 12 supporters did not append their signatures, or they did not sign. For Salama A and Salama B electoral areas, he submitted 30 names of supporters instead of 40. For Zambia Central A and in Zambia Central B electoral areas, he submitted 40 names, and out of the said names, 2 did not append their signatures. Fourthly, he did not submit the required number of registered voters from each of the electoral areas of Makindye Division. Based on the foregoing, therefore, the Commission found that Sebagal Haruna did not comply with Section 123, subsection 9E of the Local Governments Act. The Commission, therefore, under Minute 093205, resolved to reverse or quash the decision of the returning officer nominating Sebagal Haruna. Accordingly, Sebagal Haruna stands disqualified. We shall issue the formally signed decision after signing it, after making this right correction here. That is for Sebagal Haruna. Next, Nabada Sumaya. Is Nabada Sumaya here? All right. The Commission makes a reference to the complaint lodged against the nomination Nabada Sumaya. In the said complaint, it was alleged that Nabada Sumaya, who was nominated on 9 September 2025 for the elective office of Division Chairperson, Makindye Division, Kampala, did not submit the requisite number of supporters for Salama A, Salama B, and in Zambia Central A electoral areas. Thus, she was not eligible for nomination. Further, that some of the supporters she listed had subscribed or supported the nomination of other candidates who were nominated prior to her nomination. Nabada Sumaya, in her response, dated November 2025, contended that the particulars of her supporters were verified and validated. She further stated that her supporters endorsed her nomination days before the nomination of the petitioner. The Commission, upon hearing the complaint and considering the submissions of both parties, and also upon examination of the nomination paper of Nabada Sumaya, made the following observations. 1. For Salama A electoral area, she submitted only 17 registered voters as opposed to the required minimum of 20. Two, for Salama B electoral area, she submitted 25 names, but out of the 25, 2 are not registered voters for Salama B electoral area. Further, out of the remaining 23 names, 4 names, that is to say Namata Maxensia, Nakazi Rehema, Nyarusweka Faith, and Nabawesi Shakira subscribed to the nomination of the petitioner, that is Yasini Omari, on the 8th of September 2025. Thirdly, apart from merely claiming that Namata Maxensia, Nakazi Rehema, Nyarusweka Faith, and Nabawesi Shakira had subscribed to her nomination earlier, she did not adduce evidence to substantiate her claim. Fourthly, Nabada Sumaya's list of supporters is dated 9th September 2025, and she was nominated on the same day, implying that she was nominated after the petitioner who was nominated on 8th September. And therefore, those supporters, they said Namata Maxensia, Nakazi Rehema, Nyarusweka Faith, and Nabawesi Shakira could not have endorsed her nomination. Hence, she remains with the 19 valid supporters for Salama B electoral area, which is less by 1. Fifthly, for Nsambia Central A electoral area, she submitted only 14 names of registered voters, as opposed to the required number of 20 supporters for each electoral area. In view of the foregoing, the Commission came to the finding that Nabada Sumaya did not submit the requisite number of supporters for her nomination, and under Minute 09-020-2025, the Commission resolved to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating Nabada Sumaya. Accordingly, Nabada Sumaya stands disqualified. Never done. Next, Senator Joffrey Edu is Edu here. Is not here. We shall nevertheless deliver the decision. The Commission makes reference to the complaints or petition lodged against the nomination of Senator Joffrey Edu. Was he a candidate? Is he a candidate, Senator? He is. Okay. In the petition, it is alleged that Senator Joffrey Edu failed to satisfy the requirement of submitting 20 names of registered voters in support of his nomination for Lukuli A, Lukuli B, Salama A, and Salama B electoral areas, and therefore he was not eligible for nomination. Senator Joffrey Edu, in his response dated 27th November, contended that he fulfilled all the requirements. He was therefore validly nominated after verification of his nomination papers. The Commission, upon deliberating the issues raised in the complaint and considering the response to the petition, and further, upon examination of the nomination paper of Senator Joffrey, the Commission made the following observations. 1, for Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas, Senator Joffrey Edu submitted 40 names of supporters. But out of those 40, 30 did not have their signatures appended. 2, for Salama A and Salama B electoral areas, he submitted 40 names of supporters. 2 names out of the 40, namely Sambula Babura and Matobu John, are registered voters in Masaja Ward, Wakiso District, at Masaja Kibira B N to S polling station, and Buyaga Parish, Buyaga Primary School polling station, Masaka District, respectively. Those 2. One of them is a voter in Masaja Ward, Wakiso District, and the other is a voter at that polling station called Buyaga Primary School polling station, Masaka District. Based on the foregoing, therefore, Senator Joffrey's nomination contravened Section 123 or did not comply or fulfill Section 123 9E of the Local Governments Act, and in line with the said provision of the law, the Commission resolved to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating Senator Joffrey Edu. Accordingly, Joffrey Edu stands disqualified. The Electoral Commission makes reference to the complaints or petition against the nomination of candidate Ruval Wanga Charles on allegation that he failed or he did not submit the names and signatures of 20 supporters from all the electoral areas of Makindye Division, contrary to Section 123, subsection 9E and 10 of the Local Governments Act. Therefore, he was not eligible for nomination. Ruval Wanga Charles, on the other hand, contended that the lists of his supporters he submitted were verified and he was validly nominated. The Commission, upon hearing the complaint and considering the submissions or presentations of counsel for all the parties, and further, upon examination of the nomination paper of Ruval Wanga Charles, made the following observations. 1. On Zambia Railways electoral area, he submitted 20 names. Out of the 20, 10 have no signatures appended. Furthermore, Okech William, one of his supporters, is not a registered voter from Zambia Railways electoral area. For Muyenga electoral area, he submitted 20 names. Out of the said 20 names, one of them, Namanda Josephine, swore an affidavit confirming supporting to the nomination of Lusagala Bosco. In other words, one of your supporters for him is an affidavit saying, I supported Lusagala Bosco. So in other words, if you say I supported candidate X, you cannot support another candidate. For Bukasa electoral area, Ruval submitted 22 names. Out of the 22 names, Akandinda Joseph and Inkalubo Saul appear on Lusagala Bosco's list of supporters. Both Akandinda Joseph and Inkalubo Saul swore affidavits denying subscribing to the nomination of Ruval Wanga Charles. Further, Tive Malizibwa Rose is not a registered voter in the Bukasa electoral area. For Lukuli A electoral area, Ruval submitted only 11 names as opposed to the required 20 names. And out of the 11, 2 have no signatures appended. For Salama A and Salama B electoral areas, the lists of supporters Ruval Wanga submitted have a total of 35 names instead of 40. Out of the 35 supporters, Bule Brian did not append his signature. Therefore, Ruval remained with only 34 valid supporters for the 2 electoral areas instead of 40 supporters. In light of the above observations, Ruval Wanga Charles was found not to have submitted the requisite number of supporters from Zambia, Muyenga, Mukasa, Lukuli A, Salama A, Salama B electoral areas, and as such, he did not qualify for nomination. The Commission therefore resolved to overturn or quash the decision of the returning officer, and accordingly, Ruval Wanga Charles stands disqualified. We shall also give you the signed copy after making sure everything is in order. But that's essentially what it is. We are not going to change it. Next, we have Kaima Juma. Is he here? Kaima Juma. Is he a candidate? Kaima Juma is a candidate. The Commission makes reference to the petition lodged on 27th October 2025 concerning the above subject. It was alleged that Kaima Juma did not submit the requisite number of supporters for Lukuli A, Bargalo, Lukuli B, Zambia Central A, and the Zambia Central B electoral areas, and therefore he was not eligible for nomination. The respondent, Kaima Juma, despite receiving notification of the entire petition, and for hearing. He neither appeared for hearing nor filed a response. The commission, having been satisfied that Kaima Juma was served with the petition or complaint, but did not reply or appear. Did you represent him, Council? Kaima? Was he your client?
No, my client is
Okay. Okay. He did not reply or appear for hearing when it was fixed for hearing. So the commission proceeded to hear the complaint, and upon examination of Kaima Juma's nomination paper, the commission made the following observations. 1. For Wabigalo electoral area, he submitted 16 names of supporters as opposed to the required minimum of 20 for an electoral area. 2. For Ukuli A and Ukuli B electoral areas, Kaima submitted 40 names of supporters, but 3 of them, namely Hamala Yunus, Kyosaba Jacent, and Nabukenya Stella, are not registered voters in Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas. Thirdly, for Nsambya Central A and Nsambya Central B electoral areas, he submitted 33 names in total. Out of the 33, 13 names, that is Nakintu, Jennifer, Matovu Musa, Musiho Ismaili, Kiza Margaret, Ochuen Monica, Othieno Christian Justin, Okelo Michael, Nanyonjo Oliver Naiti, Kiden Rosemary, Tuna Godfrey, Mukasa John Bosco Kampindi, Mutaguanya Winnie, and Nabakoza Florence are not registered voters. Hence, were ineligible to subscribe to the nomination of Kaima Juma on Nsambya Central A and B electoral areas. Based on the foregoing, Kaima Juma was ineligible for nomination, and the Commission, pursuant to Section 123(9)(e) of the Electoral Commission Act, resolved to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating Kaima Juma. Accordingly, under Minute 090/2025, the Commission, Kaima Juma stands disqualified. Sewanyana, is your candidate? Was your candidate? Sewanyana, we make reference to the petition or complaint lodged against the nomination of Sewanyana Malcolm James as a candidate in that Makindye Division electoral area. In the petition, it was alleged that Sewanyana Malcolm James submitted the requisite number of 20 supporters from only 11 electoral areas out of the 25 electoral areas. Furthermore, that some of the names he submitted are not of registered voters from those electoral areas indicated against their names, and that therefore he was not eligible for nomination. In his response, Sewanyana Malcolm James stated that he was validly declared nominated by the returning officer after fulfilling all the requirements for his nomination. The Commission, upon hearing the complaint and considering the responses of both parties, and further, on examination of the nomination of Sewanyana Malcolm James, made the following observations. 1. Sewanyana submitted the names of supporters from Nsambya Estates, Bukasa, Kabalagala, Muyenga, Kansanga, Salama A, Kibuli, Kisugu, Namuwongo, Wabigalo, Buziga, Tukuli, Katwe 1, Kibuye 1, Nsambya Central A, Makindye 1, Makindye 2, Kibuye 2, Salama B, Nsambya Central B, Ruwafu, Nsambya Railways, Ukuli B, contrary to what you allege, what was alleged in the petition. Secondly, however, for Nsambya Central B, Lukuli A, Lukuli B, Salama A, Nsambya Central A, Salama B electoral areas, he submitted insufficient names of supporters. Thirdly, for Muyenga electoral area, he submitted 20 names of supporters. But out of those, Auma Jane, Achom Ruth Peace, Namaganda Shatta, and Kagesi Joyce subscribed to the nomination of other candidates were nominated before he was. Based on the foregoing, the Commission, under Minute 93/2025, resolved to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating Sewanyana Malcom James on ground of having not complied with Section 123, 9E and 10 of the Local Governments Act. And therefore, they said Sewanyana stands disqualified. Nika, Phillip, Nika, here. The Commission makes reference to the petition lodged against the nomination of Nika Phillip. The petitioner alleged that Nika Phillip was nominated on 9th September 2025. He did not submit the required number of supporters for Lukuli A, Lukuli B, and Muyenga electoral areas to fulfill the requirements for his nomination. Hence, he was not eligible for nomination. Nika Phillip, on the other hand, in his response, dated 24th November 2025, contended that he submitted 40 names of supporters for Muyenga electoral area and over 60 names for both Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas. Therefore, he qualified for nomination. The Commission, upon examination of Nika Phillip's nomination paper, established that he submitted 41 names of supporters for Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas. However, 10 out of the 41 names are not registered voters in Lukuli A and Lukuli B electoral areas. He therefore remained with 31 valid supporters for Section 9E and 10 of the Local Governments Act, and in line with the said provision, the Commission resolved under Minute 093 of 2025 to overturn the decision of the returning officer nominating Nika Phillip. Accordingly, Nika Anybody who has not heard his decision? Who?
Yeah, my name is.
Oh, your petition. These decisions are in respect of mayor. Anyone who was nominated for position of mayor and has not had his decision, apart from what Phillip is raising, which is a different matter. Anybody? So, thank you very much. Those are the decisions of the Commission. Yes.